Hi, everyone. Welcome to my page, The Prayer Maven. I wanted to hop on here and just share something really simple and hopefully incredibly helpful to you in your process of developing your prayer practice, understanding a little bit more about how prayer works in your life. And today, I specifically wanted to connect with you around the idea of prayer and manifestation and understanding that those things are really synonymous with each other. They really are the same thing. And a lot of times, what I see and experience with people who I've had conversation with or I've worked with in small spaces is there's a lack of understanding that these two things are actually working together all of the time and are, in fact, the same. We're just using different words. And then understanding why the manifestation or the answer to the prayer is not happening 100% of the time. In other words, in the way that we are imagining it or hoping for it to happen. And so I wanted to share a couple of things with you here today that I think can be really helpful in breaking down what it is that might be in the way of you receiving the answer to your prayer. First of all, you have to understand what prayer truly is. So, truly, prayer, when it's approached properly, is meant to be effective. It's meant to be fervent or connected. That's what the word fervent means. It means a connection is made internally, and that connection is made deeply within us with the God power that is in us that says, I am wanting to do exceedingly abundantly above all that you could think or ask. That's the power we're connecting to in prayer. So if we go into prayer and we are feeling discouraged or we're overwhelmed or we're anxious and all we can utter are just words of like, please help me, God, please help me, God. Sometimes because of the intense feeling that we feel within us, those words can be effective and we can start to sense relief. However, when it comes to actually bringing something forward in your life, that is what you're intending, that's something that you really desire, you want to experience, you want to see happen in your life. And we have to understand that we can't come in a position or a posture in our prayer that feels weak and feels defeated. So if you're coming into prayer with those kinds of feelings, I want you to know that could be your first block to why your prayer is not being answered in the way that you desire it to be. In other words, you might still be getting more of the same stuff that you're trying to get out of because the feelings that you're having are so intense. And that's really the prayer that's being prayed underneath the words that you're saying. So I want to just share with you today, if you have been utilizing prayer for a while, even if you've been using other things that are linked to manifestation techniques, but you don't understand some of these things exactly, it may be the reason why you haven't necessarily created exactly what you've been hoping to create in your life, or you haven't revealed in your life exactly what is available to you. And so, whenever you go into prayer, whenever you approach prayer, prayer is meant to be approached with an attitude of thankfulness. And the reason that it's meant to be approached with an attitude of thankfulness is because true prayer is the accepting of something that is already done. In other words, when I go into prayer, and I am praying for a specific thing, I really begin to give thanks that is already done. The scripture even tells us to do this. So in Mark, the scripture says, when you pray, believe that you have received it. So it's in the past, right? Received, it's past tense. Believe that you have received it and it will be done unto you. So we're supposed to go into prayer as though it has already happened. This is one of the big things that I see is missing whenever people are using prayer in their life and they feel like they're not being heard, that their words are hitting up against a brick wall and nothing's coming back. And the fact of the matter is that the attitude or the awareness of what prayer is just misunderstood. And so they're going into prayer, begging and pleading, asking God to do certain things when the desire that's in their heart lets them know God is already ready and willing to offer what it is that you're desiring from a true and pure place, right? Because the scripture also tells us you have not because you ask amiss, or you're asking out of alignment with what you say you want and what you believe you can have, right? So that's one way we can be really out of alignment. It's another block to us. So we have to get real and get honest with ourselves. When I'm using prayer or any other manifestation technique, am I truly in an attitude of believing that I am worthy and that I can have what it is that I'm asking for? And if not, then that's the place we want to look and ask for that to begin to be healed and cleansed out of us. Because prayer is easily and quickly answered when we come into alignment with what we say and what we believe. That is literally an open channel for our prayer to begin to show up in our life. So we have to believe that we've already received it. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about this because what I think happens for most people is prayer is such an incredible tool. It's actually a really fun thing to use. When we were little kids, we played pretend. Maybe you ever said like, play like this, right? And so prayer is the opportunity for us now with our level of awareness to go into a space that's quiet and that's relaxed. You definitely want to be in a relaxed state whenever you're entering into your prayer practice. But you get into a nice, easy, relaxed state and you begin to imagine what it is that you're desiring. Now, what I see most people do is they're imagining it like they're watching a movie. So they're seeing it happen in their life. They are seeing it from a third person's perspective and they're watching it on a movie screen. And so, look, if you've been shut down in your imagination and the first step is you can just see it play out on a movie screen for you, great. That's a great first step. What you want to do is you want to work your way into seeing it happen from first person, feeling the feelings in your imagination of what it feels like to be the person who has received the answer to their prayer. Because the scripture tells us when you pray, believe that you've already received it, right? So this is encouraging us to get into the state, first of all, very relaxed state. Secondly, to begin to play like fully in our body and in our senses, in our imagination, right? So almost like we're wearing VR goggles and we're in this virtual reality and we're sensing and feeling and touching the answer to our prayer. That is what makes prayer effective. And so whenever we do that, whenever we get into that space and we believe that we've already received it, the final thing that we must do is when we leave that space of prayer or we leave that practice, whatever it is of manifestation, that when we leave it changed. We leave it as the person who has already received the thing that they imagined, that they believed in prayer, right? So we don't go back to our life still going, oh my goodness, I hope this happens. Oh my goodness, I wonder how it's going to happen. Oh my goodness. To start asking those questions and to start obsessing over it means we did not connect fully with the feeling of our answer. And so it would be important to maybe spend the next few days. If this is something that you want to start practicing for yourself, the first most important thing is get relaxed. Get into a relaxed state. Right before you go to bed is a great time to do this. Settle yourself, settle your body, let your mind begin to relax and let go. And then you can begin to tune in to your desire, tune into the feeling of having your prayer already answered. Who are you? How do you feel? What do you look like? How does it feel to be the one who has the answer to their prayer? And let that just marinate as you drift off to sleep. And I promise you that the infinite intelligence within you will go to work on bringing the answer about and bringing it fully into manifestation in your life in ways you do not know of. But when you get up in the morning or when you get up from that space of meditation and prayer, you get up as a changed person, as someone who is living life with new glasses on, right? You have new perspective. You have a new look on life. And when you begin to see life, you don't go back to, oh my gosh, I wonder if this is going to happen, or I wonder how that could happen. If those thoughts creep in, you shut them down and you say, no, I've already touched it. I've already felt it. It is real. And God is working on my behalf. So I want you to just take these quick little things. Hopefully you can tweak some of the ways that you're using prayer. You have to believe that it's already been received in your life. Feel it, experience it, that it's already happened. And I promise you in that moment, It is done. And you can leave that space in full confidence that God has heard you. You do not have to go back and babysit it, right? You can go back and feel it again if you'd like, but you don't have to keep going back and babysitting it and obsessing as to whether or not it's going to happen. So I hope these things can be helpful to you in your practice. I want you to know God is for you. And God is wanting to do exceedingly abundantly above all that you could think or ask in your life right now. If you'd like this post and if it's been helpful to you, I encourage you to like it, share it, save it, and follow me for more just like this.